Hey Jeshaun, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Some of the wide receivers had talked about just putting in time this summer, with Talia and Lance, and just kind of establishing that chemistry and connection. What was that experience like for you this summer, just working with them, and how's that relationship started to form?
Um, it was definitely good. Like just especially like with Lance and Talia, both they're both very hard workers, which is like what you need at that position. And they both were beating down our doors and texting us, calling us like, when can we get in the indoor? When can we go through? Like it was almost every day. It felt like it was one of them texting or calling me like, let's go through, let's go do something, let's run routes, just do top of the routes if you don't feel like running, or let's run intermediate routes because my arm is just a little sore. So like it was just cool like to see that, and it was cool like to know that they actually wanted that bad, that like they every day going through this pandemic, they were trying to get the right amount of numbers to where we wouldn't be over a limit, so we could actually do it and do it the right way and get good work in. So it was good. It's been a learning experience for me and them, and I'm enjoying it.
And just as a follow-up, like, is that something that is kind of unique to have in football from your experience? So, like, have a quarterback who's, texting you just every day trying to get that work in?
Yeah, which I've kind of dealt with that the whole time I've been here, except last year when I was hurt, like with Pig and Kasim prior to now, like they would always be on the same thing, like let's go through it, let's go do something. We could be working on something, we can look at some film, we go over the playbook, like it was always something. So I'm enjoying that part. It's definitely a blessing to be back out there with these guys.
Thanks, Jeshaun. Next up, we'll go to Emily.
Hey, Jeshaun. What was it like last year, I guess, from a mental and emotional perspective more than anything, watching the group of receivers you have at Maryland kind of continue to get better, and when you're physically not able to be part of that?
It was actually great. Like I feel like it was like I was learning almost through them. Like I was getting my sophomore reps like with them, almost like in a meeting room. I mean, like just being able to watch them go out there and go hard every day and just get better. Like actually seeing it off the field. Like I'm like when you're on the field with them, you can see it, but it's not as noticeable when you're off the field and you're just sitting back and literally watching. Like just watching the progress of the whole room, like and the room come together. It was actually cool to see. It was tough for me. Like I wanted to be a part of it every day. Like it was so hard. Like I almost wanted to ask coach if I couldn't, like it was hard for me to go to practice. It was like, I don't know, it just wouldn't sit right with me being out there, like, and not being able to do anything, like knowing that there was nothing I could do. Like, I couldn't even get out there and jog if I wanted to. So like it was cool for me, like I said, just to get to see them outside looking in, like and watch them like every day get better, and it was great to watch.
And just logistically, when were you back to 100%? What month?
About a month ago.
Okay. Do you feel good, knee-wise?
Yeah, I feel great. I'm actually just happy to be out there. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I'm just happy to be out there, finally get the pads on. This is the longest I haven't played football ever since I started playing football. So I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to be back out there.
Alex Flum, please unmute.
With everything going on, this season means even more to everyone because they're grateful for the chance to play. But with you coming off of this injury, how much does it mean to you to just know that you're going to be back there on the field playing in game action?
It's hard to put it in words, honestly. Like I literally been talking to my mom, my teammates. Like I sit there and like just tell them like I'm just so happy to be back out there. Like I know we play in like 3.5 weeks, but I'm just happy that I got to be back in pass for the first time since my injury. So like that's really been the biggest thing for me, is just having the opportunity to be back out there. And then with everything going on, it was like almost like I was looking at it like, dang, I won't be able to play football for 2 whole years. Like that'll be 2 years off. And now that I have this opportunity to play now, it's just, like I said, it's a blessing. We're all blessed to be able to do this.
Alex Dacey, please unmute.
Hi, Jeshaun. Thanks for taking a few minutes to do this. So I know obviously you're back now, and you got to put those pads on yesterday. I know they'd been doing not padded practices. So kind of just could you walk me sort of through that feeling and sort of how it was just initially sort of testing out the knee, even if it was just in sort of light drills, and now that you're sort of getting into the full scale workouts, how you're feeling, how you and the team are feeling going forward.
I feel great. I thank the medical staff here, the athletic training staff I meet here every day. Like I'm so thankful for them for pushing me so hard and taking such great care of me throughout this process. And I feel like if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would be where I'm at. But with the guys, I think it's just good that we are back out there and play and be together. And I feel like they wanted to see me back out there as much as I did. So I feel like I feel like we're gonna we've started to come together with all these non-padded practices, and now we finally get to. So like we've all been through this kind of process together, and I feel like that's brought us a little tighter and a little closer as a group. I don't know if that answers your question. But.
No, that does. Thank you very much.
We'll go to Charla McBride. Charla.
Hey there. I asked Cortez a similar question. I know you guys are thrilled to be back out there. We're happy to see you guys back out there, but you guys are playing in the middle of a pandemic and things are very different this year. Coaches wearing masks, and I know you guys have to social distance. What for you has been the biggest challenge of getting back out there and playing football and also going to school during a pandemic?
The biggest thing for me is just knowing that and believing that what the athletic training staff and medical staff put together, the plan they put is good. That's going to keep us safe. That's been the biggest thing for me, is just knowing that, because we are putting ourselves at risk. But as long as I feel like we follow the guidelines that we have set in place here, we'll be fine. That's been the biggest thing, is just going like the back and forth was kind of hard for me. And like I said before, like now that they finally set a date, it's been kind of, I've been feeling a little better about it since then.
Go to Daniel next.
Hey, Jeshaun, I appreciate you doing this. I wanted to ask, I guess, could you just kind of like talk us through or walk us through a little bit of just what that rehab process like? And because the pandemic did come, early this year, I mean, was your rehab affected in any way? And just so how?
It was basically, so like when it happened, I had to wait a couple of weeks. I had surgery, and I couldn't walk for a couple of weeks. Then I started to walk. Then it was from walking to a light jog, then jogging to trying to run. And then that probably got me to like about January, like February, I want to say January, February, when I started like actually jogging. And that's right when the pandemic, I want to say, it started to come about. So it affected me, because when I went home for spring break, expecting to only be there for a week or two, or maybe like we were going to get a week extra because of the pandemic, I found a trainer down there, and I was working with him for like a week. And then they called us and told us that we weren't coming back. So then that's when it was kind of tough having to find a trainer that I was comfortable with, and was doing things that I kind of I liked and needed for my knee to get to where it needed to go. And I want to thank the training staff here. Like they also, I would send them the options, and they would like let me know what they thought would be best for me and getting back to where I needed to be. So I feel like that was like the biggest effect it had on me, where it was hard kind of at first when I worked out with one guy for a week, and then I kind of started working out with like one of my best friends. And we were like filling up gas cans and doing squats with gas cans and walking them down the road as if like we were holding weights. Like we were kind of making a lot of stuff up, just trying to make the best of it, because we didn't have anywhere to go. So that was really the biggest impact it had on me.
All right, thank you.
Next up, we'll go to Dave Preston. Dave, please unmute. Dave?
You said Dave Preston, right?
I did, but Gins, you
Okay.
can go while you're unmuted.
Preston's here. Preston's here. Sorry, I turn on the mic, which is not the same as unmuting the mic. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the quarterback competition. Obviously, it's still a ways away from opening day, but how important do you feel it is for this team to have a number one going in entrenched earlier rather than later? And if you could compare and contrast what Talia and Lance bring to the table.
I don't know. That's not really my call. So I'm gonna work hard. They're gonna work hard day in, day out, regardless of who the number one is. Whenever that time comes, but I think it's good that we're all getting reps with everybody. So it's good that they're able to do that to where just certain guys aren't getting reps with just one guy, and I feel like we're all getting an equal amount of reps with both. So we get to see both, and it's hard to compare because they both do a lot. They both throw the ball great. They both can run, and I feel like that's what's needed that'll fit this team in offense. So I feel like they're competing every day. It's hard to say now. It'll be a great couple of weeks to watch them to compete.
Thank you.
All right, now we'll go to you, Gins. Please unmute.
Okay, I'm going to sort of play off the question you're just talking about the offense. Is it too early to determine what the identity of this offense might be? I mean, obviously, in most cases, it's run first, but you have two quarterbacks that can fling it. Do you have any notion of how this offense might be defined as we move into October?
No, I don't actually, because like previous years, we've had really good backs, and I feel like with these backs, with Jake Funk, Fleet, being the older guys, I feel like the coaches did a good job bringing in some young guys that can learn from them, and I feel like that room is going to be back to the top very soon, and I feel like they're not too far behind where they were now. So there's a pretty young room, if you ask me. So I feel like I don't know. I feel like the coach is going to have the option to do as he pleases for that week or whatever. So if he wants to throw it, we can throw it, because I feel like we got a lot of strength outside, and if we need to run it, I feel like we can do that too. So I really couldn't say now, but I hope we have a pretty even split.
Go to Jacob Steinberg.
Hey, Jeshaun, thanks for joining us. You talked a little bit earlier about the excitement for you of just being back out there in practice, but I know it's a small sample size and it's only been one day, but have you noticed an added intensity and excitement at practice since everyone's gotten the pads back on?
Yeah, definitely. It's always, especially with us having these non-padded practices, it gets a little chippy, and I like to talk trash, so I talk a little bit to the defense. So they're pretty happy to get some pads on and actually be able to hit me and make contact, because these last couple of weeks, I guess you could say I've been getting lucky because we haven't had pads on. So and I think it brings a whole different aspect to the game, because with no pads, it's like it's kind of like you just like you're playing, but you're not really playing. So now that we get the thud and do all those type of things, I feel like it adds a little more to practice. It was great energy at practice yesterday, with that being the first day of pads.
Okay, for our last one, we'll go back to Lila.
Jeshaun, just, from what you've, seen in practice, just how do you kind of describe what stands out to you about Kim Jarrett?
You said what? I'm sorry, I can't hear.
How would you kind of describe the play of Kim Jarrett from what you've seen in practice? What has stood out about him?
That young guy, he's going to be special here. He's explosive. He's everything that pretty much we've seen from high school. Very smooth, very sudden. Like I don't know. He's very good, and I can't wait to see him, watch him grow. And I feel like I'm lucky to be like an older guy in the room and be able to be a guy that he could come to, and if he needed something and help him out, I feel like he's going to help our room get better, and we're going to help him. So I feel like he's a great addition to our receiver room.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jeshaun.